Shirazi, and today we're going to be driving a 1994 Mazda RX-7. This is a truly a legendary and classic car, and everybody in the car community knows about this rotary engine to sequential turbo Mazda. We're going to be driving it. We're going to be talking about its features. I'm going to talk to the owner about it, and the significance in the history. And towards the end, we're going to give you the pros and cons of owning this car. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you like this show.
Hello everyone, my name is Tom, owner of Quantum Mechanics. This is my 94 Mazda RX-7 FD. I've owned it for over about 22 years, and I think I'm actually on my third motor build. Any FD owners out there know what I'm talking about. With the latest motor build that we did a mild street port to the intake and the exhaust ports. That's basically just like adding a larger valve to the motor with the way this engine operates. We did what's called a rat nest delete, where we took out the sequential turbo system and just made it to where both turbos are spinning at the exact same time. It has a Grady drop-in intercooler, 6-puck street strip clutch from Racing Beat, a couple other little bits in the engine like the crossbars, front and rear sway bars. With this engine build, what we did was we used a titanium nitrate treated apex seal, which is 800% stronger than the factory seal. With the factory apex seals, you can take them and kind of snap them with your fingers. These upgraded apex seals are so strong you could tie them in a knot, they will not break. As far as suspension goes, it has a fully adjustable TN suspension front and rear. I ended up putting the factory exhaust back on it because I'm a father now. Still has the coffee can HKS dragger exhaust system. I recently put cross-drilled rotors on. These are original C5 Racing Hearts. Still trying to find the centerpieces. Actually found some new old stock out of Russia. I got new left and right coverings here. These I got out of Lithuania. There's a gentleman in the Philippines that is making these carbon fiber inserts. I found some bride floor mats on eBay. So as some of you may know, with the FD, the defroster vents, they break, and along with that the dashboard starts to lift up. So what I did was I took this dashboard out and I covered it with a super suede material. Did that to the dashboard and the center console. Found this piece. The gentleman made that out of England. The seat that you're sitting in now has been replaced. Found a guy in Texas that had one that matched the passenger seat. The dual gauge pod here, this one shows us vacuum and boost. This one shows us our rich lean condition. However, I did break the vacuum line trying to wipe the window down, and actually have a brand new vent that is sitting in my garage that I forgot to bring today. This is kind of an interesting piece. The right-hand drive RX-7s, this was an option, but I modified it so it would fit the left-hand drive, and then my daughter actually kicked it with her foot. So now I've got a nice little hinge there to work. But as far as the interior goes, more or less stock, I would say.
All right, since we're almost at the 30th anniversary of introduction of this car to United States, it came out in the late 1992 and we're in 2022. I just want to kind of tell you a couple of fun factors about this car. Unfortunately, this car was sold in the United States from 1993 through 1995 due to lack of sales. It didn't sell well, so Mazda pulled the production out. Talk about the design of this car. Besides the R1 lip as the chin spoiler that the owner has put on, this car is pretty much stock as far as the exterior work. Very, very subtle. There's nothing showy about it like some of the current sports cars. The basic design or ethos of this car was lightweight and lots of power, which, you know, you have a car that weighs only 2,800 pounds, and the competitors like the Mitsubishi 3000 GT twin turbo at the same time had the weight was about 3,800 pounds. So being lightweight, being powerful, 252 horsepower as it came. This car, however, the owner, Tom, has increased the power to 305, but 252 for 1993, the power to weight ratio is just amazing. Another fun fact to mention about this car, it's the engine. It's a the engine code is 13B-REW. So it's a 1.3 liter. R and E means rear engine. W, since in Japanese culture, they don't have a word for D mean double turbos, they put W. Now this is the world's first introduction of sequential turbos. Now you had cars like Toyota Supra, Porsche 911s, you had Mitsubishi 3000 GTs that they had two turbos or twin turbo, but one turbo would feed one side of the engine, another turbo would feed the other side of the engine. However, with this car, one turbo would feed the boost into the engine, and not only would do that, but also it will pre-spool the second turbo, because the second turbo was not allowed to kick in until 144,000 RPMs. Alright, so inside of the cabin, it's reasonably comfortable. Although if you're really tall or big, it's going to be a challenge. I have enough room in the car for my headrest, but I'm only 5'9", 5'9 and a half. The gear is very intuitive. You got the 5 forward gears, and the reverse comes down where you would normally put the 6-speed. Okay, a couple of more things to cover about the inside of the car. Look at the speedometer. It's topping out at 180 miles an hour. I would not want to go 180 miles an hour in too many of the modern cars, let alone a car that was built almost 30 years ago. Then you have the tachometer that the start of the red line is 7,500 RPM. There's a rumor that Mazda was encouraging people to do their RX-7s at that red line once in a while so they can get rid of some of the carbon deposits. Then we have the oil pressure, then we have the coolant temperature and the fuel gauge as well. Plus the owner, for tuning purposes, installed a couple of more gauges. We got the air and fuel, and we got the boost gauges as well. The RX-7 drives like any other sports car of its period. However, since the owner of this car has done some modifications to it, it's definitely harsher and more sportier. This is not a car that you're going to drive on a daily. This is a weekend car, or once in a while. I can feel every bump and motion on the road, but I'm very snug in. I'm very low to the ground. It's just amazing. If you don't know how to drive this car and you give it too much power at the wrong time, it can happen. So you got to be very, very careful with this car when you're driving it. You got to be respecting the car, and you can't be doing a lot of things that the new cars, since they have a lot of computer controls being able to correct you. You'll make the one wrong move on this car if it's like on a wet surface, or if you're coming too fast on the corner. Alright guys, thank you for watching this episode of Rad Rides, covering this beautiful 1994 Mazda RX-7. This is the 30-year anniversary of this car that was introduced in the United States, and the world is coming. And I'm very glad that we got a chance to cover it. Special thanks goes to the owner of this car. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're a new channel. And we have 2 videos coming every week on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thank you so much, and until next time.